Toastmasters from the Competent Communicator Manual. His title is 5 to 7 minutes, and his speech is Computer Biology 101. Please help me bring Alex.
How many of you guys enjoy shopping? Some with your parents. For computers! Over the past weekend, I had the pleasure of shopping with my parents for a new computer, and it brought out a lot in me. I was able to be very creative, yet practical, and we were able to really I was able to explain things very well to them in a pithy manner, so they could just take something from it other than just me doing everything for them. We went to Best Buy, and I was like, let me start from the inside out. We're gonna build it together. I'm gonna tell you what every part is, and you're probably not gonna understand anything unless I could find something we could relate to. So I started from inside out. I started with a motherboard. I thought, well, this is like the skeleton of the computer, of the body. You're going to put everything there, everything will be attached to there. You want to find a good solid one, something that fits. It comes in all sorts of different sizes, but just make sure, let's start with this, the skeleton, it's simple. And then next we started with the CPU. And then at that moment, I didn't know what CPU meant, because I forgot. So it was like I didn't really know what I was talking about, but it came back to me as a central processing unit. From there, it's like the brain. It really tells you how fast everything is. It helps run, like you could surf the web faster sometimes, or you could just do a bunch of things more. We were talking about different types of CPUs. He was like, my dad, he was like, well, what's this one? It has more numbers, more better? I was like, no. Actually, it's true. The higher the CPU, generally will be better, but you don't need an Albert Einstein brain to do SpongeBob SquarePants kind of activities. Like, you're just gonna surf the web. If you're just doing small things, then that's fine. You can just buy whatever fits you, save money. Asian parents love saving money. From there, we tried to the skeleton to the brain to the the RAM. And that's where he gave a very pithy response. He was like, oh, like the year? And I was like, yes, like the year of the RAM. And get a gold and put it inside. It's like, no, we're not going to do any of that. RAM is kind of like the table. Imagine a table, and however much space you have is how fast you could do things. Even if you had the best technology, if you had amazing dexterity, if this table was only like a quarter the size, you'd probably run out of room. But the more RAM you have, the bigger the table, the more space you're able to process things. So little by little, he was understanding more and more about the computer, and he was cracking more jokes. And I started bonding. We had this like nice moment. I was like, oh man, I'm doing something useful for him. He's always been there. I was like, okay, so we had like 3 core components. Let's move on to some other things. There's the cooling system, which is simply how we evaporate. It's perspiration. It makes sure our body doesn't overheat, so our brain doesn't get fried, or we're able to just run efficiently. There's a power supply, which is similar to how we eat meals within a day. Sometimes some computers don't need that much energy, others need a lot more. You need to figure out whatever it is, and then you can plan accordingly to that. And then finally, I told him about the case. Case is where everything goes in together, ties everything in, and it's kind of like our skin, our clothes. You want something that fits. It doesn't need to be too tight. It could be just not too loose either, to save space. And from there, he was able to really he started picking out some things on his own, and I was like, wow, this is cool. Like, my dad is building his own computer. This whole time we would always buy like a pre-made one, or he didn't know what to do. And then eventually now he's like kind of understood more. He would give me ideas, like, hey, what about this one? I go, no, like some things have to fit. That's the wrong skeleton. I was like, okay, cool. Afterwards, I kind of realized after the whole ordeal is there was a quote by Albert Einstein that really resonated with me, and it's this: we can't solve problems, using the same thinking we can't solve problems using the same thinking we created a problem. So I was able to really be creative and practical. I felt that those things don't really go in hand. It's hand in hand. It's really easy to be creative. It's really easy to just, I have all these ideas and then none of them really make sense. So what I leave with you guys is, if you're ever trying to describe a computer to anyone, you can just relate it to a human body, because we know that pretty well. Thank you.
Our second speaker, Sean Pan, has been with Toastmasters 2 months. He has joined Toastmasters in order to become a better speaker in a professional environment. Today, Sean will be given his third speech, Getting to the Point, from the Competent Communicator Manual. His speech is 5 to 7 minutes, and his speech is, Have you stopped to smell the flowers? Please help me bring Sean onto the front.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. Have you stopped to smell the flowers recently? It's already mid-April. A quarter of the year has already passed. How have you improved since January? Are you any closer to achieving the goals you set for yourself at the beginning of the year? Since I graduated from school back in June, time has been accelerating at a very quick pace. Every day on the weekdays is the same. Wake up, go to work, gym, dinner, sleep. Life has become routine. And when I go to the gym on Mondays, I ask my gym buddy, I say, hey, what did you do last weekend? And he says, not much. And we get on with our day. Time is becoming monotonous. And everything's going by too quickly. And I think the reason why I feel like time is going so quickly for myself is because I don't have that much to look forward to. And I'm not saying that my future looks bleak, it's just that I don't have as many set milestones as I used to. See, back when I was in school, the year was broken down into 4. Fall quarter, winter quarter, spring quarter, and summer. So obviously my milestones were winter break, spring break, and summer break. Now, every week is just Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 3-day weekend, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and no work is done Friday. So I think another reason why time is going by so quickly is because as one gets older, time becomes less significant. For a 10-year-old, a year is 10% of their whole life. But for someone in their 50s, it's only 2%. And often, when we get trapped in our routines, we seem to lose track of time. Like when I'm driving from work on my daily commute, I sometimes daydream, and my body goes on autopilot. And I wake up in the middle of my dream, and I say, how the heck did I get here so fast? Or some days, you just spend the whole day watching TV and you wonder where the day went, like my Saturday afternoon. So the fact that everything goes by so quickly terrifies me, because I'm scared that one day I'm going to wake up and realize that my better years are behind me. I'm scared for the future. I don't know where I'm going to live. I don't know where I'm going to buy a house, who I'm going to marry, where I'm going to have kids. And so I figured, why worry so much about the future? Just enjoy the present. I think the best way to enjoy the present is to learn how to slow down time. And I think a good way to slow down time is just have new experiences. This past month has been extremely exhilarating for me. I went on many different hikes. I went skydiving. I went bungee jumping. It's all really good stuff. When I go to the gym, I usually walk there. And on my commute, I'm looking at my phone, I'm reading articles on Quora.com, or I'm playing video games. And I don't really pay attention to my surroundings. But one day I decided, I'm going to put my phone in my pocket and enjoy the scenery. And when I got closer to my apartment, something caught my attention. I smelled a very sweet fragrance coming from a bush of flowers nearby. So I stopped there. I took in a deep breath, and I just stopped and smelled the flowers. I stood there for about 5 minutes and just enjoyed the environment. And then I began to reflect. It is already a quarter of the year. How have I improved since January? Am I any closer to achieving my goals? So as I stood there, I began to make a mental list of all the things that I've accomplished since then. So since January, I learned how to code in Python. I read 5 different books on personal finance and development. I've joined groups such as Toastmasters, and I mentor for the High School Innovation Challenge at Northrop Grumman. I've gone to the gym about 4 times a week. I can now do 1-arm pull-ups. And I've gone on 5 different hikes. I've gone skydiving and bungee jumping. So fellow Toastmasters, do not let the present slip through your fingers. You may be busy, and you may lose track of time, but once in a while, stop and smell the flowers. Thank you.
Okay, I know everybody's waiting for the table topics, so help me bring Martin Gulaski to the front.
Thank you. Technology develops as a result of building on the work of previous ideas and thinkers. But there are great technological leaps that occur when a significant breakthrough happens. What do you think is the single most important technological breakthrough in human history? Monica.
Thank you. For me, the single most technological breakthrough is the fact that I don't physically have to get in my car anymore and go shopping. I can actually pull it up on the computer. I can pick everything I want. And now they've added an extra little quirk to it where I can actually have a personal shopper come to my house and deliver items to me, whether it's clothing, food, toiletries. I love it because that makes me spend lots more money now because I can not only shop at home, I can still get out in the street and shop too. So I get double whammies. So instead of having just that one dress that I bought at Nordstrom's, I can also buy that dress at Nordstrom and get on my phone while I'm in Nordstrom and order something else. I think it's awesome that I can do that. And groceries, oh, it's fabulous. I can just write out a list of everything I want, order it, and they deliver it to me every single day. I don't have to cook. It's planned out, it's well proportioned. So if I'm on a fasting diet and trying to lose 80 pounds or so, it's easy because they just line it all up for you. So what if you got a man in the house and he wants to cook and eat and all that stuff? He's on his own program. Don't worry about him. Just take care of yourself. And I can just shop the whole weekend. I can shop all day on Saturday. I can shop all day on Sunday. I can be in the car on the way to church. I'm shopping. Take your laptop with you. Take your iPad with you. And now it's on the watch. You can do it that way too. I think it's wonderful. That's technology for me. Thank you.
Advances in computer science and neuroscience have given us a great understanding of how our brains work and what we can program computers to do. The merger of these disciplines has given rise to the idea of a singularity, a point where we develop an artificial intelligence that mimics or even exceeds human intelligence. Do you think the singularity is possible, and how will it come about, and how will it change our world? Doug.
Mr. Table Topics Master, thank you for that question. There was a movie long before any of you were cogent. It's a pithy story about 2001 reasons why we need to be very cognizant of the fact that when computers take over, we're hosed. That was A Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick, where the program, which was the AI running the ship, had a command. The command is complete your mission. You are to complete your mission at all costs, which overrode the other factor of you must take care of the people on board the ship. See, because when they became two different factors, the people were ejected. And it was a very interesting thing to think about because eventually it's going to come. We're going to have computers that are smart enough, but what we put in is pivotal. You know, who here has heard the expression garbage in, garbage out, right? Pretty common. We have to be very cognizant when we're talking about machines that have the potential of being substantially, if not smarter, at least faster at coming decisions than we are. You know, we think two ways. We think deductively when we do math. We can do math very quickly because it's just rote memory. Machines think that quickly. When we do induction, when we take a room full of people and say, okay, who's got the biggest belly, right? That takes some work, very slow, right? So far, machines can't do deduction. They can only do induction. Mr. Tabletop Master.
A few days ago, Moly Robotics announced the production of a robotic chef, which would be able to make any of 2,000 meals at the tap of a button. It goes on sale in 2017, so Monica, you don't have to go shopping for it yet. More than that, you would be able to connect to your robot over the internet through your phone and even download apps that contain recipes and new dishes. Would you personally ever use such an invention, and why or why not? Atia.
Wait, I'm the timer.
I know.
Oh,
That's fine.
Thank you. Wow, that actually sounds really interesting because I love to cook, but much as you shared in your speech, time just it gets away from you. And then you get home after work and say, I forgot to take the meat out the freezer. And I don't necessarily want to put it in the microwave to thaw it out. I want it to be fresh. Then I'm running to the store to either get fresh meat or I'm trying to figure out something I can throw together, or worse yet, I'm picking up something. But I have given up fast food, so I know my healthy choices. So that might actually be something I would consider. Now, I wouldn't do it every single night, but to have 2 or 3 nights off and I can customize what I want and still maybe have a healthy dinner, nice options, why not? But maybe I'll wait until 2019 when it's cheaper. Because you know, when they first come out, it's very expensive. It's like I want one of those watches, that watch your steps and all of that. Well, they were very expensive. Now I saw them at Costco. It was a set too for like $60. I can get one for me and my husband. So I might give it a little bit of time, but I'll be honest, it might be something I consider. Thank you.
In May of 1997, Deep Blue became the first computer to beat a human, Garry Kasparov, at chess. Since then, we have developed programs that can handily beat humans at a multitude of games, suggesting that these games are not worth playing anymore. Do you think computers would be able to play all games better than humans, and does this fact change what kinds of games humans will want to play in the future? Kyle.
Thank you, Mr. Tabletop Master. When I'm hearing about all these topics, I think about when I was in grade school, and in grade school everyone said that computers are great, but they'll never be as smart as a human, and that no longer, I think, is the case. Computers are much smarter, and as far as some of the old games being, I guess, figured out, or the game is not as, the computer can basically do everything for this game?
Beat a human.
Oh, the computer can beat a human. No, I think that would not necessarily deter us from trying to break the code, from trying to be the one that kind of beat Deep Blue in your case. And so I think that may actually be a challenge that might get a lot of people to, take on that computer and be successful and be the one, and get some notoriety from that, I would think. So no, I don't think that would be a deterrent at all.
Along this line of games, new technologies have enabled games to be played over the internet, spawning a whole new field of electronic sports, where professional players, sponsored by large companies, compete against each other at international tournaments. Would you say that esports are real sports, and what value do they hold, if any? Teresa. I mean,
I'm sorry. Thank you for that. Mr. Tabletop is master. And I was doing one of the things that we're always not supposed to do, and I was barely listening. Because I knew that question was not for me. As far as games, well, first of all, I know that you can, I assume you can practically play any game on the computer. However, I don't. The only games that I play are none of the games that you guys play. I play, what do I play? 21? Not 21. Solitaire. Solitaire and spades and that type of thing. But for some of the other games, I do not play them. It's just that I mean, I'm sure that if I did, I would probably get hooked. And that's one last thing that I need to get hooked on because I'm already hooked on a lot of other things. Okay, so I don't need to add games to my addiction. As far as being real games, I think that was part of the question. I would say yes. I would think that they are just as real and just as valid as if you were playing a real game because, I mean, the only difference is it's on the computer. And for example, my niece, I guess she plays games. You know, she's at that age in her early, very young 20. She just turned 21. You know, one of the games that I like to play is dominoes, right? Game you guys probably say, oh, that's for old people or older people. But my niece never knew how to play dominoes. She learned by playing on the computer. And now, when we play dominoes, I mean, she is very competitive. And I was just really surprised that she learned to play dominoes to that extent on the computer. Just her and the computer. So I think I'm answering your question when I say, yes, I do think that the games on the computer are very real. Mr. Taylor.
thank you. It is said that the inspiration for many of our technologies comes from science fiction. For example, the upcoming Apple Watch is often compared to the communicators used on Star Trek. If you could pick one sci-fi technology that you could instantly make a reality, what would it be and why? Irma.
Morgan, I was hoping that was your last question. Because I have no idea. I don't know. I think Monica said like a time machine. I think that would, if we were to pick something, I would pick a time machine to take me back to a certain time. And I think for that, make different decisions. I think this would sell because there's times that we, like Sean said, our time just passed and we wish we would have been able to go back in time and change some stuff that we said or done and do actually our actions that we did too, the way we handle certain things. So I think if we could have a time machine, that would definitely benefit a lot of people.
I'm hoping we have time for one last one. So modern technological advancements have allowed us to develop methods of storing information digitally, like CDs, rather than in analog format like tapes. In most art mediums, we have achieved a level of digital resolution that exceeds our ability to tell the difference between the analog and the digital versions of art. Does this mean that analog art no longer has a place in our modern world? Helen.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics. I think analog, the way of storing art, definitely does have a place in our modern world. We're always trying to do things more efficiently, better. So I remember a long time ago, we used to have, and we still have all these old photo albums full of pictures, and it takes up lots of shelf space. But now my husband just takes a camera and uploads it onto the computer and save all these files with all of our pictures by year. So that saves a lot of space. So I can see how the analog version of saving artwork, it'll save space, save cost maybe, and so we could still bring it up and enjoy the art without actually paying thousands and millions of dollars for a piece of artwork, so that more of the general population can enjoy the art. So I think it definitely has a place. And but I still appreciate going to museums and seeing the actual original artwork. When you get up close and you see the oil paints and the watercolors, it's just really amazing. But I think so the new version doesn't compare to the original, but it definitely has its advantages. Mr. Table Topics.
Thank you. That's all I have for Table Topics. Thank you very much, and welcome back to our program.
We have now entered our second half of the meeting. Help me